good times of year, but the seasons too. Like you talked about making yourself uncomfortable and forcing change. Like we go from 100 degrees in the summer and high humidity to literally 20 below in the winter. If you can't handle change, you're not going to handle this. And what do you think that does for the rest of your life?
Yeah, you are hitting the nail on the head. I'm kind of forcing my family, you talked about this earlier. I'm forcing my family into an uncomfortable position. It's tough. Like I watch some of my rich friends' kids are so spoiled. They don't want to work. They whine about every little thing. I watched one of my friend's kids get his iPad pulled away from him like a couple months ago, and I was like, it was almost as if they took his meth pipe away from him. It was so bad that I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get my kids the heck out of here. And my kids were bickering about a year ago. And I said, you know what, sweetheart, we need to go down and like take a tour of the homeless shelter. Like just a tour. We don't need to volunteer. I just want to take a tour and see what they're all about and maybe donate some money. So my wife and I took our kids down to the homeless shelter and we walked in the rooms that these kids are sleeping in. We walked into the rooms that these families are sleeping in. And I showed my kids that we ended up donating money and making it worth their time to give us a tour. But I'm sitting there watching my kid. I go, okay, so kids, we're going to move into this shelter, right? I know this is kind of weird to do to your kids, but we did this last summer. I said, all right, this is where we're moving. And my kids about lost their mind. Like, are you kidding me? What are you talking about? My kids are getting weak. So the forcing yourself into uncomfortable positions and staying like being comfortable in uncomfortable situations, you can't overstate that, dude. What got you to North Dakota?
Well, I grew up in Minnesota, southern Minnesota, so it's pretty similar
So
to
you upgraded.
I upgraded. Actually, I'm happy to be out of that state. I love Minnesota, but um, North Dakota is awesome. I mean, I think you feel that within Montana, just being able to not be so constricted, and we don't need to get into that, but
We can get into that. I'm going to
yeah,
get into that. Chris won't get into it. He's trying to run for mayor, just so you guys know of this town, Fargo. Um, it's important where you live, dude. Like
yeah.
going around and doing this 100 city tour. I'm going to hang out with you today in Fargo. We're going to go film at I think we're going to film at one or two properties with you today.
I've actually got three properties across two deals, all within a quarter mile. One was the first deal I did inside of SubTo, uh, over the top creative. The other property is the most recent one I've done in town creative,
Okay.
all in the same neighborhood.
Okay, so Chris, I'm gonna guess that if I came to North Dakota, there's almost no competition from off-market deal flow. Is that correct?
Um, Not a ton. There's the investor community has gotten a lot more active over the last couple of years and starting to get more collaborative, um, much more community than you ran into in Alaska. I
Hmm.
heard all about that.
What was interesting is Alaska, our community, right? Like our leadership
Yeah,
in Sub 2, they're so collaborative, but outside, like when we brought the outsiders into that group, it went right back to the default Alaska setting, which was like, I'm not sharing anything with you. But in Fargo, like I feel like these smaller towns, sellers are a lot more acceptable for creative offers. They're way more game. They trust their neighbors a little bit
yeah,
more, so they're not fighting you. They're not being hammered. Like Phoenix, Arizona, for example, still my favorite market to work in. Um, you're calling a seller that is getting called by 30, 40 people,
yeah,
like maybe even sometimes more. Here in Fargo, I imagine you have some competition, but you're not, you probably have the time and the energy to really focus on building a relationship and rapport with the seller rather than worrying about them going around your back to another investor. Whereas in
yeah,
Phoenix, you really have to focus a lot of your time and energy on making sure that the seller is not going to go to the other investor and take your offer to them. That's like 99% of the battle when you're in these conversations. But then when I go into smaller towns, you're like, wow, you really are only talking to me. Like I'm the only investor that's really been persistent for 3 months to call you. Do you feel like sellers here in Fargo are a lot more open to one, building a relationship, two, accepting creative terms, especially like an over the top creative deal?
Oh yeah, 100%. I like you said, I think there's more of that general sentiment of, trusting neighbor, right? And it just opens the door then to more possibilities. Because the thing that just gets me the worst is when, I run into somebody and they're just closed off, right? They're closed off to everything. You've got a solution and you can help them, but you can't make the decision for them, right? You can't force that. And as you know, those deals and those situations take time, right? You need to build Uber rapport over and over, dozens of phone calls, dozens of inquiries, keep showing up. Because at the end of the day, no matter where you are in Fargo or Phoenix, the person that keeps showing up is the person that will be trustworthy.
Yeah, that is a really good point. And I had this guy last night. He was in the Minneapolis meetup, 450 people. Shout out to Dorina one more time. Shout out,
Huge.
by the way, Chris, I'm freaking blown away. I'm not joking you. I was expecting that your city would have the least amount of RSVPs. You are at like
That can happen.
170 RSVPs in North Dakota.
Yeah, we'll take it per capita.
By far, I'm not exaggerating. There's cities right now. The least amount of RSVPs we have, I think, could be understood is West Virginia. Like my team is like, why are we even going there? There's 32 RSVPs. I'm like, because I promised I'd go to every state. I
Yeah.
promised I'd highlight an owners club member in every state. I promised I'd go and like highlight people and talk about their deals and show the world that it's possible in every single state to do what we do. And we're going to West Virginia. I don't care if it's like 3 freaking people, but we are going there. It's the same reason why Chris Neer, guys, check this out. He's not only doing the Fargo, North Dakota meetup, he's also going to run the Sioux Falls, South Dakota meetup, which is how far? Like 4-hour drive?
3.5. Yeah.
3.5 freaking hour drive. This guy's running 2 meetups because he loves providing value, building community, leading and helping people wherever he possibly can. He got 170 freaking RSVPs for Fargo, North Dakota, dude. That's like Dallas getting 3,000
Yeah.
RSVPs.
Yeah.
Holy crap. That's a testament to you, bro. That's a testament to people you know here. Like it's so freaking cool, man. Okay, so this deal in Fargo that you have, the one that's uber creative, the first one you did when you joined SubTo, why
Yeah.
was it uber creative? I got to hear this. You called it over the top creative.
Yeah, so this is one we call the creative double play. So it was actually it started as a Novation deal. So I joined the community 4 years ago, and you guys were launching a lot of the VA. I'm trying to forget what the challenge
Zero
was.
to
So
zero to hero.
zero to hero, yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm all in. We're gonna take action. I'm gonna hire a VA. So I hired a VA. We got them calling some lists, and she came across a fella named Michael. And Michael had moved out of his house. He had built a new house, in fact, but he had raised his family in this big 2-story house on the north side of town. And he had tried to sell it the year before, right? Put it on market, but he'd been in there for 30 years and it hadn't been updated. It was full of stuff. And he actually got an offer within a couple weeks, but they wanted him to move out in like a week. And he said, I can't move out, right? I've
Yeah, he's
got
been
30
there
years of
30
stuff.
years. He's got a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. So it goes back on the market and it ends up going nowhere and it drops. And then he just kind of went into limbo mode, right? And he moved out of this house and it just sat there for a while. Um, and we got to talking through and looking what the house was the status of the house. And again, he had built this new one. He's like, I need $330,000 for this house. I have to have it. And I said, it's not worth that. I have no way to make that work, right? I even mapped out the numbers. Here's what it's going to sell for. Here's what we're going to have to put into it. But I said, Michael, what if we partner together? Because I don't know exactly where this is going to land. There's some variance there. I said, what if we bring the funds to rehab and update the house? We'll help you to move out because he had all his stuff in there and his kids were not helping him. And so we took over possession of the house on a novation. He kept ownership. We brought funds, we got agreements together saying that, hey, when we finish the house, we list it, we sell it, he's gonna get his 330, right? And then ours will be on top. So we go through the process. It was a great project, turned out really well. And halfway through, we started putting our sign out in the yard, and somebody in the neighborhood saw it. So they came by, started talking, and turns out they lived a few blocks away. They had 3 teenagers. Their house was 3 teenagers worth of house, all run down, beat up, and they'd been trying to find a new house for like a year, but they kept getting beat out. Other offers, other offers. This was, back when the market was high. And they said, and nobody wants our offer because we have to sell our house, and our house is not going to be ready to sell for months. But they loved this house that we had finished, Michael's house. So I said, okay, tell me more about what you have going on. And they said, yeah, we've got some money set aside for a new house. And they again had a higher loan on that house, but at 3% interest. So I said, okay, what if I sell you this house and I buy your house and I just start making payments on your loan? They were all for it. They bought Michael's house. We bought their house. We updated, renovated theirs, and still have it to this day. It cash flows, I think, 500 plus a month. It's
Bro,
probably one of our best rentals.
bro, that's so freaking cool.
We've been in the community for like a month and a half.
Wow. So you do a novation. How much did you make on the novation when you sold it?
I think the market had really gone up well, so I think we made like 80 grand on that one.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, dude. So you make 80 G's on the novation. You then from a VA. Okay, so I want to highlight something because at the time this is the zero down.
yeah,
So the zero down thing, what I did is in the summer of 2021 when Chris joined, is I was like, I do these things where I go, all right, we're gonna do a challenge, we're gonna get everybody's activity really high, we're gonna do a ton of deals. I'd never heard this deal, Chris. We've hung out a handful of times. You've never told me this deal.
sure.
So what's funny is he then goes and hires a VA,
Because I was working full time.
right? And a busy guy. Like I'm not going to make these calls. Let me get a
Yeah,
VA to make the call. So the VA makes the call. This comes from the challenge we do. Does anybody want us to do a big challenge like this? Like inside of SubTo, top tier TC, etc. Like we do a big challenge like this again, just private. So I'll tell you guys what I have cooking. That's actually bad. I feel bad for Chris because technology's changed from 4 years ago. I'm never going to tell you guys to hire a VA again because although it is inexpensive and it was the right thing to do at the time, things have changed. I think there's
we
better ways to get leads now, but that was
yeah
4.5 years ago.
we
So
moved on as well.
yeah, but at the time it was a really great way to get it. So he
Yeah,
gets this lead VA, and that's the cool thing about real estate. People are like, does real estate work in a good, bad, indifferent, up, down, left, right market? Yes, it does. You just have to pivot not only with the market, but also with the technology that's being, injected into the industry.
yeah.
So you get this deal, you do a novation, you make 80K, you then buy the neighbor's house sub 2, they move into your novation, buy it, obviously they go get a loan. You get a chunk of money, which is freaking awesome. Then you take that house over sub 2 and that thing cash flows $500 a month. The Chris Near double play.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite.
That is, why can't every deal be like that, dude?
Only in Fargo, North Dakota.
Oh my gosh. I've had a couple of deals where I've helped a sell. So I had a seller sell his house sub 2. He was worried about like, I can't go find another house. And I've sold him another student's deal,
Yeah,
but not like this. Like this is so much better. So we're going to go and take a little bit of video. I know it's cold. It's 40 degrees here. We're going to do a little bit of video in front of these houses. We're going to take some photos in front of the houses as well. These houses were done, sold. I know you own one of them still, but the Novation you sold 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you've got another deal that you just did like 30 days ago.
We just actually we're finishing. They just cleaned the inside yesterday. We've got a few things on the outside. This was a house that we're flipping. Um, but yeah,
How's the flip? How's the flip market in Fargo, North Dakota? Like, is that the
good.
strategy to do right now?
Yeah, I mean we do. I mean our goal across the board wherever we're operating, because we do a lot out of state as well. We're actually very active down in Atlanta, Savannah. But our goal is to hold property, right? But it needs to work, right? It needs to cash flow. So in an area like this where, rents are solid in the middle, but they don't just keep going up with price point of house. So there's a point where it doesn't make sense anymore to hold those houses, and most of those we end up flipping.
Hey
But
guys, you
people are
think
always
Chris
looking
Neer's a
for.
guy? You think Chris Neer's a guy you probably should know? 4 years in the community, now full-time investor, buying deals in multiple states. Atlanta is one of my favorite markets. Why do you like Savannah? Why did you guys choose Savannah? I haven't done deals in Savannah, so
Yeah.
love to hear your answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, the culture is great down there. The economy is really picking up well. I mean, the size of the city strikes a chord with me, right? Fargo is an area of 200,000 people, right? The whole state has, I think, around or under a million. And so when we started looking in that area, it was it just felt right. But there's a lot of good business coming into town, driving that'll will be good for future economy.
I've been hearing that. So I have not been to Savannah. I'm going to be there on the tour. Everybody kept telling me, "Don't go to Savannah. It's not big enough city for you.
Yeah,
Because you're going to go to Atlanta and then Savannah. Like, just do Atlanta." I'm like, no. And they were also trying to get me to just do where's the Masters held? I forget.
Augusta.
Augusta. They were like, let's do
Yeah,
Augusta because we got Pat there, amazing leader, and he's like, just do the meetup in Augusta. I'm like, I've done a meetup in Augusta. I want to go to Savannah. It's a
yeah,
romantic, like haunted city that's also growing, which means new development. Fix and flips are really going to be good because people are moving down from the more expensive
yep,
parts and going to Savannah. And so I love that answer. Are you?
yep. We're
I
actually
doubt.
finishing a flip down there next week. Birdie's helping us on that one, so that's been an awesome project.
She's been helping on the design.
Yeah, yep.
Freaking awesome. Okay, Chris Neer, what do you need in your business, brother? What do you want more of? Do you want more deal flow? Do you want more acquisition managers? Do you want more money? What do you want?
Yeah, 100%. I have to give I mean, thank you so much for everything, the community. But I think a couple days ago, referenced the 18-minute challenge you did. That was a that was a turning point for me, because until that point, I hadn't done anything out of North Dakota, South Dakota, or Minnesota, right? Which was fine, right? Good things happening in there. But I decided to step into that and put myself out there, and we formed a team. And I actually have some like really key team members that came from that challenge, and numerous students that we helped get their first deal across the country. So it forced me into an uncomfortable position, because all of a sudden I had people coming to me looking for help with foreclosures, because we do a lot with foreclosures, right? In Pennsylvania, in Florida, in Georgia, in New Mexico. And I said, okay, I'm going to help you in your market, right? And it forced me to think beyond the limiting thoughts that I had at the time, which was I have to physically be there to do it. I have to see it, right? Um, and it opened up this whole new world for me. And now we've really been, again, working and focusing on Atlanta. We're building a pad split co-living portfolio down there. Alexis Jimenez and I, who we really connected well through Owners Club,
I love
working on
Alexis
that
Jimenez.
project.
He's very. I didn't know you guys were
Yeah.
partnered, dude. I talk to Alexis
Uh,
all the time.
Monterey, where
Oh, okay.
we really launched. Yeah. So we're looking for lead flow specifically for Atlanta. and just looking to bring people into the fold. We still run a joint venture team. We've got, I don't know, like 20 SubTo and Gator students that just want to be part of a team. They want to help work leads. They want to look behind the curtain, see what's going on. Some are bringing capital because they've got money to bring, but not time, and others have time, but not money. Our goal is to try and figure out how can we collaborate, help serve people, and accomplish our goal to really build out and help the affordable housing issue in that community.
I love this, dude. Some people are asking, what's the 18-minute challenge? Let me give you guys a funny story. So I always do these things where anytime I feel like the transaction volume is slowing down in SubTo, I'll go come up with a crazy idea of a challenge. And so Chris first got his first deal from the Zero to Hero challenge, where I said, all right, starting from zero, I have no leads. I'm going to go and create a whole business by using a VA. And this costs money, right? It costs, like, I would tell people it probably costs an average of like $5,000. You had VAs, you had systems, you had stuff. You had to pull a list, things cost money. But it got so, people still tell me to this day they're still getting deals from the Zero to Hero challenge. I'm like, I should delete that because I think there's better ways to get lead flow than VAs now, you know? So we've been doing these challenges for a long time, and they're all private, only inside of SubTo.
Yeah.
And we did one in December of 2023, and we called it the 18-minute challenge. It was actually, I think it was called the 17-minute challenge. And it was from a quote. I had just become friends with Jesse Itzler, and it was from one of his quotes. He said, if you just put 17 minutes into your craft every day, in 1 year, you will be unrecognizable. And I said, I think it's 17 minutes a day for 1 month, you'll be unrecognizable. And so what we did is we created a challenge where all you had to do is 17 minutes of work every day for 30 days. And we highlighted to people, like, you could do this in a very short amount of time. And Mark says, I'm still doing it today. That was 2 years ago.
That's awesome.
That's freaking cool. And so it just spikes activity. Okay, spikes activity. I actually have a challenge I'm going to talk about right after I kick Chris off of here and go. I'm actually hanging out with Chris today. So I have a challenge I'm starting in 2 weeks that's just exclusive to our community. It's not an outside challenge, it's an inside challenge. And I love that challenge got you going. And then you meet Alexis Jimenez at Monterey. You guys collaborate. I just texted you with Eddie Charger. Are you friends with Eddie Charger in Owners Club?
We haven't connected a lot, but he's on my list of people to connect.
He is so great. He's been in the community for 5 years. I think he could be really good boots on the ground for you guys in Atlanta, and lead flow and wholesale deals and all that kind of stuff. So, Chris, how can people reach out to you? Dealswithchris.com?
That's the place to go.
Okay, guys, you could text him. He's going to get swamped with text messages. Smartest thing to do is go to dealswithchris.com. They're looking for acquisition people. They're looking for money. People want to inject money into their deals, their pad splits. Him and Alexis Jimenez, who also have been in the community he's been in the community a long time. You don't speak Spanish, do you?
No, I don't.
I wouldn't put it past you, bro. You're like multi-talented, multifaceted.
I told Alexis, though, within the next year, I'm going to get there because
you should force him to only speak Spanish to you.
He keeps doing some of our Zoom calls to some of our investors in Spanish, and I'm just sitting there with a dumb look on my face.
Like some guy from North Dakota that's no. I mean, you guys probably have a pretty good, thriving Hispanic community here.
There is, yeah. Actually, some of my favorite people to work with for our construction company.
This is funny. Andrew says, Pace, did you send me a voice message yesterday, or was that an AI bot? Andrew P. Beardy Day. Wife thinks I got scammed. No, that was my voice memo. I'm sending a voice memo to everybody that in the city that I'm going to the next day. So I'm sending a voice memo and letting people know, like, hey, come hang out with me, come see me at the meetup, come give me a hug, shake my hand, etc. So, by the way, we are on YouTube. I wanted to highlight Chris Neer on YouTube as well. For those of you guys on YouTube, we are in a private Zoom with our SubTo community. We've got 651 people on a live Zoom right now. This is what we do with our community. A lot of people show up in the morning. We just jam together, get the energy high, connect, collaborate. And I try and highlight a business partner of mine every single day. And today is Chris Neer, because I'm near Chris Neer today. I'm in Fargo, North Dakota, Um, by the way,
Everything's close by.
it is really beautiful here. I imagine there's probably a lot of hunting here, right?
Yeah, big time,
What
especially in
about,
the western side of the state.
okay, what about fishing?
Fishing is good. Yep, not as many lakes as, but the main pocket of Minnesota lakes is just an hour to the east. So, we're
And
right on the edge of the state, so we get kind of the best of both.
okay, and I'm on the edge of Montana, which is your neighbor. Did you and your wife drive out there or did you fly?
We drove. We brought the whole family. We went down to Yellowstone and then up to Kalispell when we came out.
How long of a drive is that? Like 10 hours?
Uh, 16. It's a long way across those two states.
Yeah, they're big, dude.
Yeah,
And there's like nothing between, there's like very little between Fargo and where I'm at.
yeah.
All right, Chris, you're the freaking man. I'm gonna hang out with you today. I appreciate you tremendously. I'm gonna spend the next 30 minutes explaining the challenge that's coming up. You are the freaking man. I look forward to seeing your stuff. That double play,
Appreciate you.
freaking awesome. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. Chris Neer, guys, go to dealswithchris.com. He wants more people on his acquisition team, more people on the funding team, more people to collaborate with and get deals with Chris. Chris has helped probably, I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark. Chris has probably helped 50 to 70 members of our community get their first deal. That is what this community is all about. How many people want to do another challenge like what we're talking about? Zero to hero cost everybody like $5,000 because at the time, like the technology just didn't exist. I've got a challenge that is it's gonna be 2 weeks. We're gonna start it in 2 weeks. Okay. This is something I've never done before, so please pay attention. This actually came from Rebecca. We were doing a live. Please pay attention. This is gonna go fast because I got to get showered and I got a training. I got to get over to a hotel. I've never done a challenge where we collaborated with the top tier TC community and SubTo, because SubTo is trained on negotiations, structuring deals, building rapport, buying deals, creative finance, all these things. And top tier TC is trained on the paperwork and the running of the transaction. And we just started about a year ago training top tier TC on operations, like how to operate and help people like a Chris Neer, like a Pace Morby. And what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be pairing anybody that is on the, I'm going to call it the visionaries and the integrators. Okay. We're going to call it Rocket Fuel Challenge. We're going to call it the Rocket Fuel Challenge. Okay. The Rocket Fuel Challenge is visionaries and integrators being paired with each other. The vision is this. Okay. I'm going to sponsor all of the leads for this challenge. Okay. All of the leads for this challenge for a week. Okay. Here's where these leads are going to come from, and then I'll tell you how to get involved and how to be part of the pairing party. So please pay attention, take notes, because I can only say this one time. Are we all on the same page? I can only say this one time. Give me a yes. I can only say this one time. Okay. 600. And can one more person leave or show up, please? We're at 666 people. That's not a good sign. Or the devil's number. It's not good. Somebody leave. I'd rather be at 655, 665. Don't leave. I'm just kidding. There we go. 665. Somebody left. They thought I was really talking to them. Okay. The Rocket Fuel Challenge is going to bring the integration and the visionaries together. Okay, visionaries are going to be the people that are closing, okay, negotiating. Think negotiations, okay, heavy duty objection handling. Negotiations, objection handling. Got it? Can we guys, can we pause like putting our big long things in the side chat so I can keep people on the same page, please? Cool. Tanya Thompson, she says, it's not the devil's number. It's 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons. I appreciate that. Okay, so that's the visionaries. The integrators are lead management. Nurture, transaction coordination. What happens is when these two people get together, freaking rocket fuel. It's like Molly and Pace, Jade and Pace, Saravi and Pace, all of the people and Pace. Okay, all of my how many people? Where are my integrators? Say yes in the side chat. It's Nisha and Pace. Yes. Okay, there's my integrators. Here's what this challenge is going to be. I'm going to supply sellers to you guys who participate in this challenge that have been called already. So no cold calling is going to be done. No cold calling is going to be done because we are going to cold call the sellers for you for these leads. We are going to pre-screen the sellers for these leads, and these are going to be fresh to you and nobody else. These are not leads that are being sold to anybody else. These are leads that I am paying for you guys to collaborate with each other. And we are going to hand those off to your CRM. Okay, and we'll talk about this during the training. This is not the training. I'm telling you what the training is going to be. 30,000 foot view. So when you start asking questions like what CRM and what that, not the time for that. Okay. The time for all of that will be our 1 week challenge. Reza says, are we talking residential single family? Reza, I will get you a bunch of leads from RV parks just for you. Okay. So I will sponsor the leads for a week for the teams that want to participate. There is going to be a cost. Please pay attention. I cannot supply 10,000 teams worth of leads. It's physically impossible. So I thought about charging. I was like, no, I don't want to charge. I want to sponsor the leads. I want the leads to be free for them. I don't want it to cost any money. So what I'm going to do, please pay attention. I'm going to have people who have gotten SquadUp Summit tickets. You guys are going to be the people that are invited to the challenge. Okay, so where are my SquadUp Summit tickets? SquadUp Summit ticket holders. Fabiola says, please pause the chat. Okay, so SquadUp Summit ticket holders. I'm going to give you guys the link. Okay, SquadUp Summit ticket holders. You have a week to get your ticket. Okay, I'm putting the link in the side chat. You have a week. We are going to start this. Let's see. Let me show you the day real fast. We are going to start this challenge on November 16th is the day we will start the challenge. November 16th. November 16th, we will start the challenge. And instead of the jam session that week, we are not going to do a jam session that week. I'm going to pause the jam sessions. And what I'm going to do is do the Rocket Fuel challenge during that same time instead. Now, here's what that means for you. Me and Jerry Norton are going to come in and do acquisition training. We will come in and do acquisition training, and then Jerry will keep going with acquisition training for a couple of weeks after obviously I'm on a 100-city, 100-day tour, so I can't be involved in the challenge after the first week. Jerry will be in live session, so all of this is going to be given for free to keep the activity high, questions, overcoming objections, all of that kind of stuff. And we are going to pair every visionary up with an integrator from Top Tier TC. I already have 125 Top Tier TCs ready to go. Now, here's what they're going to do. Please pay attention to why this is so important. The integrator will receive the daily leads. Their job is to now set the appointment for the visionary on the visionary's calendar. The visionary now makes those 2 or 3 calls that day for the leads that were received. And then the visionary replies to those notes and says, hey, this is how the call went, what have you. And then the integrator takes them back and starts doing lead management and manages those leads long-term. Sets up new appointments, manages the lead long-term, sets up the appointment, manages the leads long-term, sets up the appointment. That is the main objective for that integrator, is to keep the CRM clean, keep the CRM updated, make sure that they're filtering and vetting the seller. So, hey, seller, my name is Pace. My team just said they talked to you yesterday. I just want to make sure before you talk to somebody on my team, you're still ready to sell. Let me ask you a couple of clarifying questions, and then you set the appointment for the visionary on your team. Okay. Whoever has SquadUp Summit tickets, which I know is not even 5 months away, but I want to reward the action takers, the people that are coming to the event. SquadUp Summit ticket holders, you have a week to buy your tickets. Well, here's what I'll do. I also can't just supply 1,000 people tickets, or leads. I can't do that. I can't have 500 teams. That's impossible. I can't have 500 teams worth of leads. So what I'm going to do is I'll cap it. I'll go the next 200 people that buy. I'll keep the people that have already bought SquadUp Summit tickets in the deal, in the challenge. The next 200, I'll cap it. And then I'll do another challenge in December for people to buy their tickets in December, but it'll be a different challenge. It won't be the exact same challenge. We'll do something different. Okay. And that starts on November 16th. Okay. The link you want to use is the link right there, squadupsummit.com/pace. Why? Because my team has still not updated the pricing, and they're supposed to. I think the pricing is still the original pricing. That's the link you should be using. Is everybody on the same page of what the challenge is going to be, what day we start, how to get in, how many people are going to now today, say me, how many people today, me, are going to buy a SquadUp Summit ticket to make sure you're in that first 200 people? Give me a me. Okay. Owners Club members, you don't need to buy a ticket. I'll take care of you. Okay. Cool. All right, so Ronald Alfaro says, I already bought my SquadUp Summit ticket. Perfect. So everybody that bought your SquadUp Summit ticket, you will be involved. Everybody that buys your SquadUp Summit ticket today and to the first 200, okay, I will have you in this challenge as well. Mika Hansen says, where is it at? I'm not going to tell you where it's at because you could go to the link in the side chat and get all your questions answered. We are resourceful. Okay, we are resourceful in this community. Okay. I recently, Jeanette Rodriguez, if you are in our private community, Jeanette, okay, if you are in our private community and you're going to SquadUp Summit, I will have you participate. I don't care who you are, top tier TC, Gator, SubTo, I don't care who you are, I will have you participate. Okay, if you are a SquadUp Summit ticket holder and you are in our private community, then I will have you participate. What I'll do is everybody that gets a ticket, I will have your email. We'll send you an invite multiple times. I will talk about this for the next week leading up to it so everybody is aware of it. So you're going to hear me talk about it today. You're going to hear me talk about it tomorrow. You're going to hear me talk about it all the way up to the 16th. So for the next 7-8 days during the jam session, I'll talk about it for about 10 minutes. And I'll make sure that everybody has an opportunity until the first 200 tickets are sold. I imagine we're probably going to sell 50 tickets today just by this alone. Okay. Now what's cool is I will supply the leads. I will even supply the CRM for you guys for like 30 days. I'll even tell Go High Level, let's create a specific workflow for this challenge. And I will have Go High Level give you guys the CRM for free for 30 days to get through the challenge and do the thing. Okay. I will supply all of that. I think the coolest part about this is I'm going to pair everybody together after the training. I'm going to pair you guys together and then keep live training going on for the Rocket Fuel Challenge for probably another 30 days. Everybody on the same page? Does everybody understand the vibe, the energy? And I'm still working through some minor details. Give me a yes. Cool. John says, I just bought a ticket. Awesome. Cool. Awesome. Now, for those of you guys that don't know what SquadUp Summit is our family reunion. So all these Zooms that we do, 600, 700, 800 people, imagine 3,500 of our community members that know creative finance, no lending, no transaction coordination, the heroes, these people like Chris Neer that you saw, Dorina, all of these people I highlight on Zoom, they sit in the front row at this event. They are there to meet in person. Yes, you have to buy a ticket for your spouse. Yes, if your spouse is married to you and you are in the community, then yes, they can come. We end up having a bunch of spouses and kids and all that stuff come to SquadUp Summit. Kids can come, but you just have to buy a ticket for them, okay? Can I buy more tickets to give away and get 3 integrators? No, please don't do that. I'd rather bless an integrator on each team, rather have 3 integrators on one team. Okay. Ethan says, one day I'll be as cool as you. When I can get to SquadUp Summit, I imagine it will be like heaven. It is. Ethan, maybe you can get people to sponsor you. Maybe you get 10 people to throw $100 in and get you a ticket. I bet you could do that. If you were really creative, I bet you could do that. And don't do it through pity. Don't be like, oh, woe is me, I can't get to SquadUp Summit. Be like, I really want to go to SquadUp Summit. Is anybody willing to help me out? And I get my first deal, I'll pay you back. And they'll probably say, don't pay me back. Okay. There you go. Kathy All says, can I get a sponsor? That depends on how good you are and how positive you are by marketing yourself, not by going, I really need a sponsor. That's not how you get a sponsor. Can you repeat again about bringing someone with us? Yeah, if you bring somebody with you, you just need to buy them a ticket. That's it. Okay. How many people are buying a ticket today? Give me a me, so I can kind of have a mental count in my mind of like how fast these will go and like how many days how many people are planning on buying a ticket after the Zoom? Say me. Okay, I see probably 15, 20 tickets. Okay, cool. If you've already bought a ticket today or you're going to buy a ticket today, say me. I want to kind of get a gauge of like how fast those 200 tickets will go away. Somebody just asked, how much is the ticket? The ticket's in the side chat. I'll put the link right there. There you go. Okay, cool. I'm going to hang out with Chris Neer today. I'm going to go film with him, and then I'm going to South Dakota tomorrow. Please do me a favor, everybody. I will be on jam session the next probably 10 days until we start the challenge, and I'll pull this jam session back, and then the jam session will just be for people that have SquadUp Summit tickets. And then what I'll do is I'll do the pairing party, the training, and I'll supply you with leads. And more importantly, oh, this is a good one. Maybe I'll add this one in there. How many people in here are like, I want to work leads, I know I'm not an integrator, and I'm also not a great closer yet? How many, who is that? Say me. Okay, I will pair you up. Oh, this will be good. I'm going to create a little, like, here's how it's going to work. Sometimes I verbally process and come up with good ideas. Okay. Okay, so if you have 3 people on the same team, okay, you're going to have the visionary. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the integrator that works to generate the leads and set the appointments. Then what I'll do is I'll put junior acquisition people on some teams that are learning how to be a closer. I will pair you with a closer. So if you are like, I want to learn how to be a closer, but I'm not confident yet, and I need like somebody to hold my hand and walk me through the process, I will call you a junior acquisition person or a junior visionary, and I'll give you guys that as a bonus. And what we'll do is we'll pair these teams up. Does that sound cool? So Wesley Pipes, he's like, I need junior acquisition people right now. Okay, cool. There you go. I think that solves like everybody's main like fear. Obviously, we have a lot of closers like a Chris Neer or, you know, other people in this community that you guys will see. Thousands of closers in the community will be like, I want this closer position. Pace is going to supply the leads for me. Then we'll have an integrator that's helping do management and transaction coordination and all that stuff. I'll train you on how this relationship works, and I'll get the JB agreement set up as well. Then anybody that's in the community, it's like, I want to learn how to be a junior acquisition person, and I want to be on somebody's team. I'm not going to be good with tech. I'm not going to be good with the CRM, but I will be better learning how to be an acquisition person. I will then put that junior acquisition person on that team. Who's my junior acquisition people? Who's like, oh my gosh, that fits me. I'm not a closer yet, but I want to be a closer. Boom, there you go. Freaking awesome. And what I'll do is I'll have Jerry come in like 2 nights a week. Okay, I'll have Jerry come in 2 nights a week for this training. So what we'll do is we'll do the training for a week on how to get started. Then we'll launch the challenge. We'll do a 30-day challenge. And during that 30-day challenge, we'll have a nightly Zoom every single night, okay? Every single night we'll have a nightly Zoom. I will not be on that Zoom because I'm running a nightly meetup in every single city, obviously. Mr. Crazy over here. I will not be on that Zoom, but what I'll do is I'll have a closer or 2 run those Zooms, okay? And we will have them help you guys with your leads, where you're stuck, comping, all of those types of things, Okay. Lori Nelson says, I'm new and I want this and need this so bad. There you go. Boom. By the way, think about this. Do you see why we call this a community and not a course and not a mentorship? Because I do these crazy things like every, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, I'll come up with a new challenge and then it boom, blows up activity, partnerships, deal flow. I'm so glad Chris, I didn't know that about Chris on his first deal, the Zero to Hero challenge. And I didn't know that about the 17-minute challenge that we did. That's freaking cool. And so this rocket fuel challenge will help spur on new activity, and I'll supply the leads for the first duration of the series, and we'll have a lot of fun. Okay. Sound good, everybody? Who's pumped up about that, by the way? It'll create new partnerships, it'll form new relationships, new partnerships. It will help people find their superpowers. It'll get people into massive traction and action. And more importantly, it's not an 8-hour-a-day thing. What I'll even train you on how to do is like how to do it in less than an hour a day. Okay, and these will be smaller teams, max amount of people. Listen to me. Max amount of people that I will help put on a team is 3, max. Because when you go to like 10 people on a team, then you're really relying on a leader that is a great communicator, and I don't have time to manage that. I would trust Chris Neer to do that kind of stuff, but I can't go and find 500 Chris Neers and go, hey, can I trust you to like manage 10 people at a time? Do you understand I'm keeping these are smaller teams, main acquisition person, integrator, junior acquisition person, max size team that I will pair up, and we will actually pair you guys up. And then what I'll do is I'll monitor it. So if let's say your visionary gets sick or your visionary, gets, pregnant, I don't know. I will replace you with I'll get you a different visionary or move you to a different team. Okay. So for those of you guys that are wanting to get in, Calvin's like laughing about the pregnancy thing, probably. I don't know. Like what could happen that like takes you out of commission? You could get deported. I have some friends in SubTo that are illegal immigrants. They have no papers, and I'm like, don't get kicked out of the country, bro. You're doing deals. And he told me the other day, he's like, I can do it virtually. If ICE gets me, I can do it virtually. It's all good. I'm like, wow, positive attitude. I love it. So SquadUp Summit ticket holders, we will start pairing you guys up and we'll do a private. Anybody has a SquadUp Summit ticket, we will pair you guys up. How will I know? Because we see the tickets that come in, the name, the number, all of that kind of stuff. And I'm going to talk about this for like 7-8 days until we sell 200 tickets, and we'll cap it out because I can only handle so many leads at so much time. And we'll shut it down, pause the jam session for a week while we train on it, and then I'll bring the jam session back. And then I'll do another challenge in December, either A, a better version of this based on what we'll learn, or B, something even easier on maybe doing agent outreach. These leads are direct to seller. Okay, these are sellers that are like, I want to sell. These are direct to seller. So a little bit more challenging leads than talking to an agent. I prefer direct to seller all day long. These are direct to seller. You're not going to be really talking to real estate agents. Agents cause conflict, but they are easier to talk to. And so I might do like a direct to agent challenge in December. What I really want and why I'm doing this is because I'm finding that there's some people that come to these meetups and they have no leads, right? And I'm like, we want to work leads. I want you to have problems and things to solve when I come into your town. And so I want to make sure everybody, not just like 80% of people have leads. I want 100% of people having leads. So I want to create a massive spike of activity, a massive spike of collaboration, a massive spike of partnerships and people taking action. And then you can bring these problems in, and we hopefully will have solutions for you in person. So good jam session today, guys. Really good jam session. Chris Neer, you're near and dear to my heart, brother. I appreciate you so much. I love our leaders. It inspires me. All the leaders that we have in here, it inspires me to be a better leader every single day. Okay. One last time for my mental help. How many people either bought a ticket to SquadUp Summit or are buying a ticket to SquadUp Summit today, so I can kind of mentally think about how many days I should be talking about this? Okay, so it looks like 25 to 30. to maybe 40, might sell 40 to, okay, cool. If you've already bought your ticket, you're already in the challenge. You're good. Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. For those of you guys that are buying tickets to SquadUp Summit, I want you to know that here's what you're going to say to me. After SquadUp Summit is done, you're going to say, I can't believe I had to be pushed to buy a ticket to this event. And then on top of it, as a bonus, you gave me a challenge, and I met my partners, and I met my this, and I got traction as a bonus. Then I got SquadUp Summit, 4-day event in person. David Goggins, Jordan Peterson, Tony Robbins, all the best speakers, Cody Sanchez, Grant Cardone, all the best people on the planet. Breakout sessions with private people inside of our community, like all the things you want to know about creative finance, all in one place. It's just our community. And you're like, you're going to tell me after SquadUp Summit, I did that challenge. I bought the ticket so I could get into the challenge, but I didn't realize that you really had to push me to buy a ticket to the best event on the planet. How many people have been to SquadUp Summit and it was by far the best event, the best, coolest thing you made? Even Dr. Tammy from Pocatello, Idaho, is staying up with her husband until like 3 o'clock in the morning in networking in the hallways. Like, it is the best event. Okay. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Chris Neer, I can't wait to hang out with you. I hope there's good food in this town. I know you don't eat bad food because you're so chiseled, but hopefully I can find something disgusting to eat that is also tasty. And if you guys have not signed up for the tour, creativenationtour.com. I'm right here. The bus is right behind me. We are traveling 60,000 miles, I think is what we'll put on the bus. And we are down 8 cities after tonight. We were almost 10% of the way, all the way through the tour. Make sure you register, get ready. And I'll see you guys back in about an hour, or actually 40 minutes. I'll see you guys back for the RV park and mobile home park training. And then I'll see you guys in North Dakota.